Hello, it's Wednesday! Okay, so that means it's time for another sketch. The next sketch in my series for Shimelle's Sketches ReImagined. This will be this week's sketch. You'll find the blog link below. As always, I'm going to do a school layout today. So I have this photo of my son.
Mom, it's not Wednesday, it's Monday.
Yes, but this video goes up on Wednesday. So when my subscribers are watching this video, it's Wednesday. Okay? No comments from the peanut gallery. You can just all ignore the peanut gallery. But I'll leave this in the video just so you can see what I have to deal with on most days. Anyway, this is a 4x4 square photo I'm going to be using. It's of my youngest son, who is this smart aleck in the background. And he's laying on the floor doing school because we are a homeschooling family. So I decided I would use that photo for this layout. And it's black and white, which works really well because I'm going to infuse this sketch with a ton of color. I'm going to use Shimelle's Box of Crayons collection. And instead of these like big circly bits, I'm going to, instead of some of these like bigger circly bits, I thought I would use this stamp set from Concord & Ninth. It's called the Background Block Stamp Set, and I thought I would stamp them like this to make them diamond shapes and use them. And I thought they'd be really easy to cut and stamp, and I could stamp them in whatever color I wanted. So that's the plan. And then for this bit down here, I have these Essential Classic Edgers dies from Pinkfish Studio, and I really like the idea of maybe using like this one or this one to create this bottom bit. So that's where I'm going with this. I will put you on fast forward and get creating, and now my dog is whining. Okay, so I'm going to start with my stamping. If I'm going to stamp on a page, especially if I'm going to be creating standalone embellishments to put on a page, I always start by stamping first. Then I can put my ink away, and I can put my stamp away, and I can concentrate on putting my page together. So I'm using the cover of that alphabet folder to help me kind of color match or choose the colors that I want to use for these decorative squares that I'm going to put onto the layout. I'm just going through and I'm doing all the colors, wiping my stamp off in between and putting it away. Again, that just helps with mess later. When you're stamping, if you clean as you go, things just kind of flow a bit better. So I'm just going to continue on here. If you're wondering why, I always get a question about why I rub the stamps on my arm before I stamp them. I'm rubbing the stamps on my arm because that helps to get the oils from the stamp manufacturing off of the stamp, which allows the stamp to stamp better. And yes, I'm probably putting like imaginary oils on my arm, but I don't care. You can also use an eraser to do this if you want, but it just gives the stamp, it gives it puts some oil from your arm or on your skin onto the stamp. It allows the stamp to just stamp a little more crisply. Because these stamps are of a small size, and because I don't want, and because I don't need the placement of them to be just perfect, I'm not pulling out my gigantic Misty for this. I'm just stamping freehand stamp. I don't care if they aren't stamped like solidly and crisply, because I'm going to be doing some other things like layering stuff on top of them. And, you know, this isn't a project that requires my stamping to be perfect. It can look stamped, and that will just move in and work perfectly with the rest of the layout. So I've chosen these two papers along with a craft cardstock for my background. This box of crayons is one of those collections that has that creamy, it's not a pure white, it's like a creamy white, and so I always think it looks funny when I put it against like a white background, but I decided I wanted to use a craft background instead. So I am getting to the end of this collection of my box of crayons. I don't have a ton of it left, just a bit, and I'm totally fine with that. And so what I'm doing here is I am cutting that teal strip 6 inches, And then I'm cutting this one. It's like 4.5. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to grab that die, those edger dies from Pink Fur Studio, and I'm going to die cut the bottom edge of my dotty paper. So I don't necessarily want the dots at the top that are really vibrant. I want more of those nice kind of shaded out ones. So I'm putting my die towards the bottom of the page so that when I lay it on top, I'm going to get more of the shaded look and less of the fully saturated colors. I picked up these Pink Fresh edger dies at a Cherry on Top, and I love them. They have come in so handy for so many projects. So I'm just going to go ahead now. I think I ran out of tape and I had to redo my tape runner. Oh, okay. So I'm using some Post-it tape. Post-it tape is my new favorite thing in history of ever. I'm using some Post-it tape so that I can center my strips of paper onto the middle of my page. So my Tim Holtz glass media mat has a center ruler, and it makes it really easy. If I use that Post-it tape just to hold my paper to my mat, I can super easy get things lined up really well. T-square ruler works too. I just have really recently kind of discovered the ruler. Oh, I know. I'm on my second glass media mat, and I've had my glass media mat for 2 years, and I've just discovered how much I like to Post-it tape my paper to my mat to center things. Don't ask. I'm just going to trim off the top of this little banner piece. Just so, and of course I have to trim the bottom because 12 by 12 is never 12 by 12, and I have this thing about edges, and they have to match up. Ugh. So now my background paper is ready to go. I was fiddling with my camera and my video a lot on this layout. I felt like I couldn't get it to do what I wanted it to do, if that makes sense. I couldn't get it like focused or centered or... Anyway, now I'm fussy cutting all these circles, and they turned out fabulously. Very easy stamp to fussy cut, super easy. I don't know if they have a coordinating die set, but I don't have it, so. But super duper easy cutting right there. So now I have my photo. It is backed. I'm using that cool ruler again to get my picture exactly where I want it. And I've also put 4 photo corners on the corners of this paper, this photo. One of my favorite parts of this collection was the nice size pack of like different kinds of photo corners that you could get with it. Really cool. So now I'm going to work on my title, and no letters stick in this collection. None of them. So I'm not going to make you watch me stick down everything because they all need stuck. The little tiny letters in the letters don't stick, and nothing sticks. It's like, oh, whatever. Moving on then, I'm going to glue all of these, my entire title, down with a Nouveau Deluxe adhesive because guess what? Nouveau Deluxe adhesives sticks. All right, I'm not going to make you watch all this. So the title for my layout is A Typical 6th Grade School Day. This is typical for us because I'm a homeschooling mama. And I do have some journaling that I want to do. So I grabbed this piece of paper from the writing pad, and I'm just going to fussy cut this speech bubble. And then I'm going to kind of put it on the layout like upside down and do my journaling on it. And now it's time to kind of embellish. So I know I want these squares to be diamonds, and I know that I want to tuck them in and have them be part of the things that sprinkle across the diagonal. But I wasn't 100% sure what else I wanted. I have, like I said, I don't have a ton of this collection left, so my embellishments are a little skimpy, which is why I decided to go ahead and incorporate some stamps instead of trying to use like the last of the little bit of enamel dots I have or something like that. I still have a lot of the stickers, probably the letter stickers, probably because they don't stick. I decide that I want to get some color going on. I feel like, so this sketch is so simple that I want to really embellish and pop the areas that that I want people to look at, which is like that center bit. So I decide to take some of these cute little crayons and pencils and kind of just tuck them in and around different areas. I'm also going to go for some cameras later, but you'll see that in a bit. I'm looking for anything that I can look that I think will work. I decided to add this cat. He's so cute. And again, I just was really going for the just playful and fun. Yeah, I don't like school supply. I'm not a fan of school lines. They never quite work for me. I don't know. But this collection has enough sort of school stuff that I sort of felt like it worked with my theme, but the cat with glasses he's just an adorable cat with glasses. That just needed to happen. And then I decided to do cameras, so I am fussy cutting some cameras from that little camera paper. And I'm kind of putting them tone on tone, so it's a little hard to see in the picture, but in the video. So I'm putting like the teal cameras near my teal square and the orange camera near the orange square. And then I meant to put a camera down at the bottom on top of the pink stamped square, but I, for some reason, just slipped my mind. I didn't do it. And then after I had when I was taking the pictures, I was like, oh yeah, there's supposed to be a camera down there. So in the photos, you'll see the camera that is down there. I used one of the ones that are like puffy ephemera with the little sparkles in it. And now I decide to add a little bit of that darker teal color, these little dot that were on the thickers. And then I do end up at the end pulling out some of these enamel shapes and kind of tone on tone, putting them on the little dots just to give them something so that they didn't look boring, if that makes sense. And that's going to pretty much complete this layout. Super simple, but you know what? I really like the title. The photo's cute. Journaling's good. I moved the sketch around just a little bit with the title and the journaling. I wanted there to be a bit more of that like linear design to it. And here are all of your close-ups where you can see the little puffy camera that I added at the bottom. So I hope you all have a fabulous, fabulous evening, and I will see you again next Wednesday with another one of Shimelle's sketches. Have a great, great day, or great, great evening, or great, great week. Bye, guys.